Welcome to this YouTube channel on how to buy businesses no cash down. I'm Carl Allen and I've been buying businesses for almost 25 years, more than 250 deals in 17 countries. This playlist is my 10-step process to buy a business no cash down. Think of it as a deal-making robot. Here's the next video in the sequence. There are 7 in total. So now we've programmed our deal-making robot with the deal structure, let's talk a bit more about the financing. Because financing a business purchase is exactly the same as financing a house purchase. Money is borrowed and secured against the physical asset, and that provides the security. So if the money is not repaid on time, the financier can seize the asset and sell it to get its money back. So whether you're buying a house, which I suspect most of you have done, or you're buying a business, the financing process is identical. With a business purchase, however, there are lots of types of assets you can use to raise the finance. Like property, and financiers will lend you at least 70% of the property value, and you can pay it back up to 20 years in length. My favourite asset to use is the receivables, which is the collection of all the unpaid invoices issued to customers by the business. So a financier will bundle all of these together and they'll offer 85% of the total value as instant cash for you to do the deposit. This is called receivables financing, or invoice discounting as we call it over here in Europe. The great point of receivables financing is you don't have to pay the capital back. You just pay the interest, which is about 5 to 7% per year. It's what we call a revolving credit facility. And you can also finance the inventory inside the business in exactly the same way that you do receivables, providing it's not perishable inventory like food, and you can raise 30 to 50% of the value of the inventory. You can also finance the equipment in the business, again around 50% of its value. So now we've programmed the deal-making robot with the finance you need to make the deposit payment. Now it's time to make an offer. And now it's time to really start to have some fun. It goes without saying that you don't need to offer the maximum amount right off the bat. We start lower and we move higher if necessary, with the maximum deposit being the amount of funding that you manage to raise. And we make the offer with the future payments linked to the future performance of the business. And that way, if the business, for whatever reason, takes a dip in performance, you can pay less to the seller, and that takes away the risk. And once you've contacted financiers, they're going to provide you with something called an EOI, an expression of interest, which is a letter or an email saying that the funds are there, that they're going to pledge at closing if you do the deal. You need to attach these to your offer letter, so then when the seller sees a deposit payment, you're backing that up with evidence that you can raise the money. And in some cases as well, you don't need to buy 100% of the business. The seller may want to leave the business, but may accept part of the payment to be made by holding back a small piece of ownership, say 10% or 20%, so that when you grow it and you sell the business for a much higher price in the future, then the original owner will get some benefit of that, but only do that as a last resort, because naturally you want to own 100% of the business so that all the profit is yours. So now we've programmed the deal-making robot with the offer, then the next step, step 7, is to get a period of exclusivity to close a deal. This is really important, and I'm going to explain why now. So once you've had an offer accepted, the deal is going to close generally in 4 weeks or so from you making an offer. That's the time it takes the financiers to do the due diligence on the business and for the lawyers to handle the legal contract. And as soon as you have an offer accepted, then it's time to build your micro deal team. And by that, you'll definitely need a lawyer to handle the legal paperwork, and also an accountant who can help you with the due diligence. If you're raising finance for a deposit, then the financier will do its own due diligence, and you can use that for your own purposes if you want to save some more time. Now, due diligence on a business is just like having a property survey when you buy a house. It's an independent, quick report on the health of the business so that you know that you're buying a good business and not a bad business, a dog with fleas, as I like to call them, if the business is bad. And here's the good news. The advisors that you use to do the deal, they don't need paying until the deal closes. And if it aborts for whatever reason, you don't have to pay the fees. This is called contingent deal fees, and it's how our industry works. The business pays for the professional fees only if and when the deal closes. To get advisors to do this work for you on a contingent basis, you need two things. You need both a written acceptance of your offer and the proof that you can get the funding, which is that EOI, the expression of interest from the financier. So that's it for this particular video. The next video in this playlist will follow, and please check out all the other playlists and videos for everything you need to know to learn how to buy a business no cash down. In fact, I've crammed everything that you need to know into a special 90-minute webinar titled 3 Insider Secrets to Buy a Profitable Business Inside of 99 Days Without Cash or Knowing How to Run a Business. And here are the 3 big secrets, the 3 killer training topics. Think of these as hurdles to you becoming a business owner. First, I'll show you exactly what the 10 steps are to buy a business, and you must follow these in order. It's really critical. Second, I'll show you lots of case studies of deals structured using OPM, other people's money, and it's no more difficult than high school math. And finally, I'll show you how you can get others to operate the businesses for you so you can do other things like spend time with your family or buy other businesses whilst enjoying the cash flow that your new business is generating for you. So to register for this groundbreaking training, just click on the link underneath this video on YouTube or type in this link into your browser. It's bit.ly/buy-my-business. And I'll see you on air sometime in the next week. Until then, bye for now.